The call of the West. In the bustling city of New York, where skyscrapers reached for the heavens and the streets thrummed with the energy of a million lives intersecting, there lived a young man named Ethan. Ethan had always been enchanted by stories of the West, the wide-open spaces, the rugged landscapes, and the promise of adventure that lay beyond the horizon. His great-grandfather had been a pioneer, a man who had ventured into the unknown in search of a better life, and Ethan felt a deep connection to that spirit of exploration. Ethan worked as a journalist for a major newspaper, his days consumed by deadlines and the relentless pace of city life. But at night, in the quiet of his small apartment, he would pore over old maps and journals, dreaming of the day he could follow in his great-grandfather's footsteps. He longed to escape the concrete jungle and find a place where the sky stretched endlessly, and the land was untamed. One crisp autumn evening, as the city lights twinkled like stars against the darkening sky, Ethan received a letter that would change his life. It was from a distant relative in Montana, inviting him to visit the family ranch. The ranch had been in the family for generations, a relic of the pioneer days, and Ethan's relative hoped that he would consider taking over its care. The letter filled Ethan with a sense of excitement and apprehension. The idea of leaving everything he knew to start a new life in the West was daunting, but the call of adventure was too strong to ignore. After a few days of contemplation, he made up his mind. He handed in his resignation at the newspaper, packed his belongings, and bought a one-way ticket to Montana. The journey westward was a revelation. As the train chugged through the countryside, Ethan watched as the landscape transformed from the urban sprawl of the east to the rolling hills and vast plains of the Midwest. Each passing mile brought him closer to the life he had always dreamed of, and he felt a growing sense of anticipation. When he finally arrived in Montana, Ethan was struck by the beauty of the land. The sky was a brilliant blue, stretching endlessly overhead, and the air was crisp and clean. The family ranch was nestled in a valley surrounded by towering mountains, and the sight of it took his breath away. It was everything he had imagined and more. His relative, an elderly man named Henry, greeted him warmly. Henry was a man of few words, his face weathered by years of hard work and exposure to the elements. But his eyes sparkled with a kindness and wisdom that put Ethan at ease. "Welcome to the West, Ethan," Henry said, his voice a deep rumble. "This land has been in our family for generations. It's a hard life, but it's a good one. I hope you're ready for it." Ethan nodded, his heart swelling with determination. "I am, Uncle Henry. I want to learn everything I can about this place and our family's history." And so, Ethan's new life began. The days were long and filled with hard work, but each task brought a sense of satisfaction that he had never experienced before. He learned to ride horses, mend fences, and care for the cattle. He listened to Henry's stories of the pioneer days, absorbing the history and traditions of the West. In the evenings, after the day's work was done, Ethan would sit on the porch and watch the sunset paint the sky with hues of orange and pink. He felt a profound sense of peace, a connection to the land and his ancestors that he had never felt in the city. As the months passed, Ethan grew more confident in his abilities. He developed a deep respect for the land and the people who had carved out a life in the rugged wilderness. He also discovered a talent for storytelling, inspired by the rich history and beauty of the West. He began writing again, not for a newspaper, but for himself, chronicling his experiences and the tales of those who had come before him. One day, while exploring a remote corner of the ranch, Ethan stumbled upon an old, weathered journal hidden in a dusty attic. It was his great-grandfather's, filled with accounts of his journey westward and the challenges he had faced in establishing the ranch. Ethan read the journal with a sense of awe, feeling a deep connection to the man who had started it all. The journal became a source of inspiration for Ethan, guiding him as he continued to build a life in the West. He realized that his great-grandfather's spirit of adventure and determination lived on in him, and he was determined to honor that legacy. As the years went by, Ethan became a respected member of the community. He continued to run the ranch, preserving the traditions and values that had been passed down through the generations. His writings also gained recognition, and he published a book about his experiences, capturing the essence of life in the West and the enduring spirit of the pioneers. Ethan's journey westward had transformed him, fulfilling a dream that had been passed down through his family. He had found not only a new life but a deeper understanding of who he was and where he came from. The call of the West had led him to a place of belonging, where the past and present converged, and the spirit of adventure thrived. And so, the story of Ethan and the family ranch became a part of the rich tapestry of the West, a testament to the enduring power of dreams and the legacy of those who dared to venture into the unknown. The land continued to thrive, nurtured by the hands and hearts of those who called it home, and the spirit of the West lived on, inspiring future generations to follow their own paths of discovery and adventure.